There is a huge new update in Adobe Premiere Pro that completely changes the way we are going to be doing video editing from now on. It's called text-based editing, and it's basically a part of the software that allows you to edit your videos the same way you would a document like Word or Google Docs or something like that. It really is that easy. You might have heard of something called text-based editing before. Descript was another company that tried this a little while back, and they did a really good job of it. The problem is, with a lot of these softwares, it's always such a roundabout way to bring things back into the editing software of your choice, like Premiere or Resolve or Final Cut Pro. What you really want is a software that could do it right there and then in your editing software. And that's what Adobe has now brought, is their own text-based editing software. But now, not only does it transcribe what you've already got in the timeline, it actually transcribes stuff before you even bring it into your timeline. Every clip you put into the project folder will now be transcribed automatically. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Before you do anything, open the Creative Cloud desktop app and make sure that Premiere Pro is updated to at least 23.4, which is the latest update. Before you import any clips, go to Edit, Preferences, scroll down and select Transcription. Then tick Automatically Transcribe Clips. You can fiddle with those settings later if you want, but I like to have it auto-transcribe all imported clips. That way, when you import a clip, it will automatically transcribe it in the background before you even bring it into your timeline. Next, you just need to import one of your clips. Let's drag it into a new sequence and see how it comes up. Now see, it's automatically transcribed, all up and down there. Perfect. Now, if this is something that you've already started as a project, you want to go to the top right and click that, and you'll see where it currently says for me, generate static transcript. Instead, it will say generate text to edit transcript, but seeing as it's already been pre-done, you can simply highlight parts of text, and it will highlight it down here in the timeline. Let's play this one back and see how it looks.
Very basically, just go to Google, search for download.
So I don't like the and I don't like the gap, and I don't like the very basically part of that. So let's highlight all that and simply backspace, and it deletes it straight out of the timeline. You can also just quickly go and delete all the little gaps in the timeline, all the pauses that are just really dragging down the timeline. Just go through and do it. I hope one day they will actually do a thing which allows you to delete all of them. And see, very easily, it's building me out a nice little rough cut of the timeline. And now, things play back way smoother. So instead of having big gaps and stuff...
You just go to Google, search for download Sony FX30 or FX3 firmware update. We're going to be doing the FX30 version for a demo. Now, my version of this...
Oh, do you know what? I don't particularly like when I said the words for a demo, because I think it's pretty implied that this is a demo version. So let's get rid of for a demo. Let's highlight that. You see how it's highlighted again? And delete. And it's gone. And now we play it back.
So we're going to be doing the FX30 version. Now, my version of this was actually not updated from...
Let's delete the now bit. Let's delete these words that aren't particularly useful. When you look at them and you read them and you think, these are superfluous. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's very good for creating rough cuts, and it's going to really change the way that we edit things. And let's say there's one bit in there that you want to move to a different part. You can literally highlight it and then cut it with Control X or right click and cut extract, and it will extract it for you. And you can move it to, say, here in the timeline and paste it. And it pastes it into a new place in the timeline. Now, very clearly, we've got a better idea of how the text editor can work. Perhaps one of the best things about this is, let's say that there's something about, I want to look for a certain word in the text. Let's say I want to, you've got a really long timeline, it's a long interview that's like an hour long, and you're searching for this one bit where this guy talks about, well, let's say in this example, factory settings. You go to the top left where there's a little search bar, search for factory setting, and there we go, it finds it. Not only does it find it in the transcript, again, it finds it in the timeline. You can find the things that might be relevant to what you're looking for, and it makes it so simple. And let's say I want to drag and drop this. Now my version of this was actually not updated from its factory settings. Let's say I want to take that bit, and I want to either insert or overwrite into Premiere Pro. I can click Insert, and it pops up on the timeline exactly where I wanted it to on the playhead. Or you can set it to overwrite, so let's say, oh, I didn't actually like that. Let me instead take this random clip from a TikTok that I did a while back where I'm talking about how to make your phone photos better. I don't think I've actually uploaded that yet. There's a couple of ways you can take better photos with your phone. Let's highlight this bit, and now let's say I want to overwrite the existing clip, and there we go. It's overwritten it to a certain extent. Now, once you've edited and created a rough cut, you can very easily just create captions by clicking this button here. It'll take a few seconds, and boom, we have captions. One cool thing I've noticed, if you're going to be doing this thing, you can set the minimum pause length. So it will only detect pauses that are, say, a certain amount of seconds long. If you are the kind of person who pauses a lot when talking, unlike myself, because I talk over myself and stumble over every single word that I say, you can set a minimum pause length, which will allow you to identify when a pause is what you would consider a pause. So in my case, I'd consider a pause anything that lasts really above just under half a second. See, now it's identified this as a pause. So what can we do? We can delete it. You can say it to show the speakers or not. If you're just doing a YouTube video where it's just you talking to the camera, it might not be valuable to do that. You might prefer the real estate to not show who's talking. That way, you know it's only one person talking. And of course, as usual, you can still export or import transcripts themselves. Also, disable auto-scrolling. That means when it's playing through, it won't automatically scroll down with you. And the crazy thing is, I've edited this entire video using text-based editing and then made my J-cuts and L-cuts and color grading, etc. manually the way I always do. Now, this is one of the better uses of AI, in my opinion, because it's taking away the busy work of editing. A lot of editing is literally just scrolling through, getting rid of dead cuts. I sometimes spend a day or two just doing that. That obviously isn't going to be particularly useful for, say, feature film editing or series editing or things like that that are narrative-based productions. Because at that point, you're really just wanting to go with what the best takes are. It's not really about specific words. It can be useful for content creators, for social media, for kind of things where you just want to clip out the dead air and clip out parts of an interview, for example. You might want to clip out, say, words that you didn't like. Let's say you're working with a brand and they suddenly decide, actually, we really don't like them using this word. Can you cut this out? As many of you know right now, there's a bit of a battle going on with AI. How useful it really is for creative workflows. People who spent their entire lives learning a craft now feeling a little bit shortchanged. But the truth is, I don't feel this changes the editing process that much. It just streamlines it. It doesn't do your J-cuts for you, your L-cuts for you, and it does make it super useful to be able to find certain things in a timeline. But as I said, this doesn't change your need for skills. So if you want to learn how to do things like J-cuts and L-cuts to make your edits really snap, click this video right here.